this morning. So I just want to welcome her.
Môre almal, geseënde Sabbat. I'm used to being with the children, so this is a change. God has really impressed on my heart lately a question, that is, why do I live where I live? What are the reasons that you guys live in the areas that you live? Maybe by a show of hands. Is it because it's near work to avoid traffic? Maybe because it's near the shops, or it could be because it's close to family. We all have different reasons, or maybe it's even near to our children's schools. Some reasons we look at when we look for a place to stay is that, is the area a nice area? Does it fit into our budget? And then we consider things like, does it have a garage? Is there enough bedrooms? Will our children be happy there? Will the yard be big enough? Will it be okay for our animals? Is it near a shop? Is it convenient? And does it fulfill our needs as a family? But then I started thinking, is there not more to this than just staying there for those reasons? Is there not more to us living where we live? And I just want to say that God has been very kind and very gracious, and He's very patient with us. And as we grow, He's there growing, walking with us every step of the way. I just wanted to share our story and our journey with you guys. So we stayed in Kaya Sands just before COVID, and then COVID happened, and the place we stayed in became so dangerous that we couldn't stay there anymore, and we needed to find a new place to stay. So during broad daylight, when you were in your house, they would be shooting right outside your window. So we started looking for a new place to stay. And every place, we looked in so many different areas, and nothing worked out besides this one house on a plot in Broederstroom. And at the time, I never understood why. It didn't make sense why it had to be there. The house was so small, and I thought, like, how are we going to make this work? So we thought, okay, we can do this for 6 months, and in this time, we can then look for another place to stay. We ended up staying there for almost 4 years. And in that time, God taught me many valuable lessons about why we live where we live, and that it actually has nothing to do with those thoughts that I first had of, I'm here because I've chosen this area, or I'm here because it's convenient for me, or it meets my family's needs, or that it's close to whatever. But God showed me that we are there as a family because that is where He's placed us. We are there because that is where He needs us most. And His purpose was for us to reach the community. But our biggest question was, how do we do this? Rihanna and I had started a project just after COVID in her area. She stays in Roodepoort, where we would put packages together every week for the people just in her street. So we started with 8 houses, and then it moved on to 16, and eventually it was almost about 30 homes that we were trying to reach every week. And what we would do is, with our children, we would pack little things in a parcel, something like dates, and we'd give a message that says, Jesus wants a date with you every day of the week. And we would then put a message to say that we are praying for you. Or we would give them some nuts and tell them, Jesus is nuts about you. And this is what we'd do every week. And with our children, we'd go before each house and we'd pray for the families in those homes. And eventually we started building relationships with these people where their kids would even join us on these prayer walks. And eventually, once a week, we could have Bible studies at our house where the ladies in the areas would come and join us. And I kept thinking to myself, how do we implement this where we stay? We stay on a plot. We are surrounded by farms and plots. I can't just go and take packages and hang it on everyone's gates because it's just not going to work. And in almost 3 years, we've only made one set of friends in the whole time. And I thought, and I kept praying, and I said, Lord, how can we be of use here? And then about a year ago, one of the people in our area posted on the security group, and they said they were busy inviting all the people in the community to come together to join for an anti-snare walk, to be able to go walk through the farms and take out all the snares that they've put up to trap the animals. So I thought, maybe this is a good idea. I think my kids will like it. At least we can try it once and then say, this is something we've done, and then just carry on. That wasn't the case. We still do this every single Sunday. If we are not on doing Pathfinders or at a children's camp, we are there at the snare walk. And my son is there, and Haley, that was her very first snare that she got, and Liam, it takes him like 2 hours to get ready. He's got a whole suit that he puts on. He's got his survival kit. He's got a panga. He's got pliers, so he's really, really ready for all of this. So we went there not knowing what to expect. We went there not knowing the people. We didn't know what we were supposed to do, but our main purpose was to take out as many snares as we could every week. Our main purpose was to see how many animals we could save or try help with just being able to do this so that they could maybe have a better chance of survival. But as each Sunday passed by and we started spending more time with these people, I started getting so excited in the mornings. I started getting so happy because I was going to spend time with them. And then I started praying for these souls and the people that we spend time with. And I started taking an interest in them. And we started building up a friendship, trying to get to know them better. And kids are sometimes a very good way of being able to sometimes break down those barriers. So one thing Liam would do is he would get to know somebody, and once he got to know them, he would find out what animal they like. Then he would go to art. So this is the group of people that our very first snare walk that we went with. But then Liam would go to art, and he would go and sketch these pictures for them. And then he would come back the next Sunday, and he would give it to them. And that would sort of break down a barrier so that we can get closer to them. So God blessed us by putting us there with such amazing people. My children love to talk, and they have thousands and thousands of questions all the time. And every Sunday they are there busy asking Uncle Steve and this person all these questions. And those people were just so patient, not knowing us, and busy sharing things with them and teaching them things. And we saw what amazing people they were and how wonderful they are and what unique qualities they all have. For instance, the one guy that we get to walk with, his name's Steve, and he spends a lot of time in Hoedspruit, and he's an ex-anti-poacher, and he used to help as much wildlife as he could. And he's taken Liam and Haley under his wings, and he's taught them the different animal tracks and animal droppings, what you can eat in the bush if you get stuck and what you shouldn't. And the one day we were walking with him, and he said to Nathan, I know that you guys go to church, but how is this possible? Because every Sunday you are here. So we got to open up that door to share with them that we go to church on a Sabbath, and this is the reasons we keep the Sabbath. Then we have another guy, and his name is Martin, and he comes across as a very tough man, and he doesn't let anyone in. But actually, he's such a big softie. He is such a wonderful person, and he has got a knowledge of butterflies and moths that is it's just amazing. The collection of moths and butterflies he has is just breathtaking. And he has also taken Liam and Haley under his wing, and he's taught them different butterflies, their scientific names, what plants they like, and even how to catch them. So he's also taught them a lot. And then one of my favorite people is Keith. Keith is a very, very, very special character, and he's got a very big place in my heart. Every story he tells is funny, and he makes you laugh. I mean, his wife told us the one day she was sitting in a meeting, and while she's in this meeting, she sees a message pop up on her phone that says, the bird's beak is missing. And now she doesn't know what's going on and how did the bird lose its beak, and she's in this meeting, and she phones him later just to find out that the dog had bitten it off. And another time she had broken her phone, and she was using his phone, and she had gotten a new phone, and many of her clients are overseas, and someone from America phoned her and said, Lulu, please can you go home and help Keith because he's stuck in the snake's cage. He locked himself in while he was cleaning it. So the snake's on the outside and he's on the inside. So the stories he tells just makes you laugh and laugh. And days later, Liam is still laughing about what Uncle Keith has taught him. These are the mountains that we get to walk in every Sunday, and Keith has such a knowledge of every part of it, and he can share such wonderful stories. And when his children were small, he would take them to all these places and go camping. And often him and Liam will go walking, and then they'll come across the animal track that they're unsure of, or they'll come across animal droppings that they don't know. And both bags go down, and they both have books that they take out, and they stand there, not trying to see which animal this could possibly belong to. This is just one of the caves we've been in, and that's one of our other friends, Villy, that we've also gone with. And this is Jordan and Eckhart, and they are also a very amazing couple that stay on one of the farms by us, and we meet at their farm every week before we go out to go walking. And Jordan has also taken the kids under her wing and taken them to the dam there to show them exactly how things work and how if you could tell if the water is clean or not clean. And Eckhart has also been on many snare walks with us, and he's even saved Liam from stepping on a puff adder. So, yeah, we love him a lot. We also have Ansa, who's got such a big heart, and she's got such a hunger for the truth, and she's got so many biblical questions, and she's just looking and searching the whole time. And Nathan's had the blessing of being able to spend a lot of time with her over the last 4 years, busy giving her Bible studies and sharing these truths with her. There are many other people that I can name, Hein and Villy and Vincent and Deirdre. There are just so many people that God has brought across our path. And each one is amazing in their own way. And each one is so special and unique. And each one has a different belief. Some of them are atheists. Some of them are agnostics. Some of them believe that everything works together in harmony. And some of them are even Freemasons. But God has put us there for a reason. He's got a purpose for us to be there. And we as a family have decided that our home is our mission field, that is our mission station. And while we are there, we are going to serve God as best as we can. And we are going to go out and do the work that He's given us to do. Most Sundays, Nathan and Ansa will be walking through the bushes, and she will start with all these questions. And all the people that believe differently or don't know what they believe yet are there listening to all those little things. So we have really spent a lot of time building relationships with them, and they've become more than just friends to us. They've become like family. We've seen what amazing people they are. At the end of May, we needed to move, and at that time, Satan was just attacking us in so many ways, and so many things were just going wrong. We were losing animals to puff adders. My car was written off. There was just so many things going on, and we were not sure on how we were going to move and all of that. And one of our friends from the snare walk came and said, "When are you guys moving?" So I said, "Well, we're moving this date." And all of them were there. They came with their buckies and they came with their trailers to come and help us. So God has not just blessed us by putting us here, but He has blessed us with the people He has put us with. And that's been the biggest blessing for us. God has also allowed us access to some of their homes, which has been so amazing. Last Sunday, we were invited to go spend a day with these people. One of the families, it was his granddaughter's 16th birthday. We've only met her once a year ago on Snare Walk, and everybody else that was attending that party was family. And we were the only friends that were there. And it was just such a special moment just to see that every moment that we've spent with them hasn't been in waste, that we are doing something and God is using us. And that was just such an amazing thing for us. There's a part that I forgot, but it's fine. These pictures might not mean much to anybody else, but these are moments that I've captured of friendships being built and bonds that are being formed, where they are growing stronger so that one day we will be able to sit with them so that we can share the gospel with them, that we will be able to study God's word with them. These are the people in the community that we spend our time with every week. And this is the reason we live where we live, because God has placed us there so that we can serve Him, so we can be His disciples. And there's no better work in this world than being able to serve Him. There's no bigger blessing than being able to give our lives to Him and just doing the things that He's asked us to do. I just want to end off with this quote from Ellen White. It's from her devotion called Sons and Daughters. It says, "Love is the fulfilling of the law. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself." Matthew 22, verse 39. The divine law requires us to love God supremely and our neighbors as ourselves. Without the exercise of this love, the highest profession of faith is mere hypocrisy. The worshipper of God will find that he cannot cherish one fiber of the root of selfishness. He cannot do his duty to his God and practice oppression towards his fellow men. The second principle of the law is like unto the first. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. This do, and thou shalt live. These are the words of Jesus Christ, from which there can be no departure on the part of any man, woman, or youth who would be a true Christian. It is obedience to the principles of the commandments of God that molds the character after the divine similitude. To leave a suffering neighbor unrelieved is a breach of the law of God. He who loves God will not only love his fellow men, but will regard with tender compassion the creatures which God has made. When the Spirit of God is in man, it leads him to relieve rather than to create suffering. We are to care for every case of suffering and to look upon ourselves as God's agents to relieve the needy to the very uttermost of our ability. We are to be laborers together with God. There are some who manifest great affection for their relatives, for their friends and favorites, who yet fail to be kind and considerate to those who need tender sympathies, who need kindness and love. With earnest heart, let us inquire, who is my neighbor? Our neighbors are not merely our neighbors and special friends, and are not simply those who belong to our church or think as we do. Our neighbors are the whole human family. We are to do good to all men. We are to give to the world an exhibition of what it means to carry out the law of God. We are to love God supremely and our neighbors as ourselves. So I want to challenge you guys today. God has placed all of us where we live, not because we want to be there, but because He's got a purpose for each and every one of us. The purpose is that we can make a difference. What if you are the only light that your neighbor will ever see? What if you're the only light that they will ever receive? And all it takes is just to have a willing heart. Mark 16 verse 15 says, "And He said unto them, Go into all the world and preach the gospel to every creature." Okay.
Our hearts, and have taken us